Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. We're your hosts, Dominic Dougherty and Drew Fasy.
And we are your local guys.
Joining us today in the Ulmer's Appliance studios is a candidate for mayor, second ward councilman, Mr. Keith Hartzell. Keith, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Palatial Studios here, so I'm very impressed.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it. We're glad we were able to make it work here. So the format for this series is going to be the same as it was when we did City Council. I believe that was 2 years ago. Every candidate's going to come, sit down. We're going to ask all the candidates the same questions. Each candidate is going to have 2 minutes to answer those questions. At the end of the interview, they'll get 2 minutes to kind of wrap up and let the voters know a little bit more about their message. For this intents purposes, Drew's going to ask all the questions. I'm going to keep time. As you get close to your 2 minutes, I'll kind of give you like a 10-second warning here.
Okay.
If you do that, I'll let you know, hey, it's time to wrap it up. All right. So Drew, I'll leave the floor to you and go ahead.
Okay. So Keith, to try to ease into this, we're going to do 3 questions that are yes or no answers. All right.
Okay.
The first, should the city implement a resident-only parking permit system for the downtown streets during the summer?
No.
Number 2, jitney service across the 9th Street Bridge.
No.
Number 3, some residents and visitors think that Ocean City is losing a competitive opportunity to places like Summers Point and Margate by not offering alcohol consumption at publicly accessed restaurants. So BYOB in Ocean City?
No.
Okay. They were easy, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So now we have 6 of our main questions. All right. We'll start with the city's 2026 to 2030 capital plan proposes over $42 million in projects for the next 2 years alone, including flood mitigation, the new airport terminal, and pickleball expansions. If a recession or a decrease in state grant funding occurs, how will you prioritize these projects if a recession or a decrease in state grant funding?
Well, the capital plan's very well planned out, and it kind of takes care of those types of things going forward because our financial people do such a good job at that. But I think what you'd have to do then is you have to look at wants and needs. And I think we have to continue with the flood mitigation programs that we have because that's a quality of life issue. If we have to slow down a project that's not necessarily a need or a want, like an airport terminal, I'd hate to do that. But if we put it off for another year, that would probably be a good thing. And what was the third one you said, please?
Pickleball expansion.
Expansions.
I'll tell you what, I'll do everything in my power to keep that going because our seniors love it. And it really draws a lot of people here. So I think it has a bigger benefit by getting people here on the island, which will also help us with the economy if we're having some kind of recession. It's just so popular and they love it so much.
Okay, sounds good. Question number 2, year-round commercial vitality. Our downtown is thriving, but we still see a ghost town effect from November to March. Some residents have suggested offering tax incentives or rebates for businesses that commit to staying open at least 5 days a week year-round and until a later time of day, say 6 or 7 p.m. Would you support using municipal funds to subsidize year-round business operations, or should the market dictate when shops open and close?
Well, in downtown, November and December are great. And we do so much to bring people in. So your January and February is always going to be a little bit slower. That's just something that happens. The merchants are used to it. My whole thing is, as both a second ward councilman and as the mayor, is to go into shops and convince them why they should stay open. I had a thing called Evenings on Asbury. I was having a hard time people keeping open at night. I went door to door, explained it, and I also took pictures of people sitting outside of closed stores saying, look, there's people down here and you're not open. So I think the approach first is a common sense approach by asking people to stay open more often and then showing them proof that if they do, they'll do more business.
Okay. Question number 3, juvenile behavior and boardwalk safety. The backpack rules and the 11 o'clock curfew for minors have helped, but boardwalk business owners still report issues with large groups of teens during peak summer weekends. Given the state's strict laws on how police can interact with juveniles, what is your plan moving forward to keep the boardwalk safe and family friendly without turning the island into a police state that scares away younger tourists?
What I like about our police chief, Bill Campbell, is when I was working up the boardwalk and first started, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, there he goes walking down the boardwalk. He's very hands-on. So the plan is to continue to work with him. So if there's an issue, you go to the merchant, talk to him, have the chief with you, make sure that we're communicating with them what we're doing, make sure we're listening to the problems and taking care of it. And I also like the collaborative approach of calling other towns and saying, hey, are you having this problem? What are you doing about it? So I think get the information, work with the chief, and then talk to other folks about it and get a good collaborative plan together that works for everybody involved.
Okay. Question number 4, beach replenishment. Ocean City and Strathmere recently took the rare step of declaring local states of emergency due to severe erosion that it has left some North End homes vulnerable. If federal money doesn't hit Ocean City's bank account by May 1st, is the city prepared to spend its own money to truck in sand, and how might that impact the 2026 or 2027 tax rate?
Well, we had this happen before back in the Prill administration, and we moved forward. We went back to the state, tried to renegotiate with the state. We have to keep the beaches open. It's the lifeblood. It's what we have. It's why people come along with the boardwalk, and obviously the downtown, little partial of that too. But we'd have to move forward and do whatever we could to do so. Look at the finances, and if we have to relax one or two other things, we'd have to take a look at that. But we'd have to keep going and find a way to do that. It's imperative.
Okay. Question number 5, 600 Boardwalk. If there was a project presented by the owner of 600 Boardwalk that included public space, amusements, retail, ample parking, and a hotel with a number of stories that was considered a compromise from the original concept presented, could you support such a project?
All of it sounds really, really good. I would have to know the total details, but yes, compromise is definitely the way to go. My feeling is it has to have boardwalk activity in the front like we have today, zoned properly. And then in the back, any kind of hotel space that's back there, we need to match the neighborhood much better. And so there's other hotels and other area condos and that type of thing. We'll be able to take a total look at the height and make sure that everything matches and blends into the neighborhood. And yes, compromise would be the way to go. A little bit more detail on that, but yes, compromise is the way to go.
Okay. And final question, Keith. Leadership. For the first time in recent history, voters have 3 options for mayor with experience in local government. What is the one specific thing about your leadership style that sets you apart from the other 2 candidates?
Well, I'm a front porch living room guy. I'm constantly out talking to people about what they want and what they need. And I think as the leader, what you want to do is set that tone. You want to set the tone to keep our quality of life where it needs to be, at the same time represent our culture or tradition or values, and that's what I bring to the table. Then you set a plan up, and you get your folks to buy into that plan. The best way to do that is through a strategic planning operation, which you bring in people and you help you actually design the plan, put together 4 goals, make sure that those goals are maintained and successful, and the goals must be obtainable and they must be measurable. So I go off a strict management scheduling of how to set goals, how to obtain goals, and how to measure goals. And that's what leadership is all about.
Okay.
Awesome. Well,
Great.
Yeah. No. Again, normally if you listen to the podcast, Drew and I are back and forth and giving comment. We're, keeping a neutral bias here through all this.
Unbiased.
Unbiased. Sorry. Thanks for correcting me there, Drew. I appreciate it.
Hey, you invent your own words. It's okay. I do it myself. So takes one to know one. We're good on this.
Yeah. No. So Keith, we appreciate you being on. This will be your 2 minutes to talk to the voters, let them know, how you feel, what your message is, and
and whatever else you'd like to tell the voters.
Drew, you are saving my ass today. Thank you. I appreciate it. I haven't had enough coffee.
Watch the language now.
Well, thanks so much for having me on, because I think communication with both you guys and the voters is the best way to go. And again, that's my issue. That's my job, is to get out and talk to the people. But let's face it, this is home to so many of us. And the common theme I get from everybody is they just love it here. And that's the key to it. At the same time, I want to keep a mindful eye on quality of life issues. When I was in a second ward interview, I talked a lot about parking, and I want to make sure that we look at the changing way we do business, which is a lot of nightly rentals, 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom, 7-bedroom homes. So, 6, 7 cars. I want to be able to make sure that we provide the necessary parking so everybody can enjoy themselves. And that's a quality of life issue, both for the people visiting, make no mistake about it, we are a tourist town, that they have a place to park and enjoy themselves. And the whole neighborhood is able to function together, because after all, we'll live together in the summer with the people who come and visit, and we appreciate they're here. But also, we want to make sure it's a great home for us and for them. So my whole thing is quality of life, and the other thing is communication. I will bring that Zoom to our meetings, no question about it, so more people can participate, because after all, they don't always have the ability to come to the council meeting when they want to. Another thing that I did is, when I had my Ward 2 meeting, I sent an invite, postcard invite, to every residence in my ward. And I would do that again. And what I'd like to do is set up a budget for each ward person to have one meeting a year where they're able to do that kind of invitation. Because I got hundreds of people out. What that would allow us to do is, all the at-large people can come. The ward people obviously will be there. We'll go from ward to ward to ward. I'll be there, and there'll be like 4 mini town meetings. But it'll be focused on their neighborhood and their individual needs. And that would be a great way to get information and really help us govern for the quality of life that we so much here, and the tradition, the values that we've come to love so much as America's greatest family resort.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, again, Keith, thanks for being on today. We really appreciate it. This has been the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort.
Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome.